Hey, it's Scott, your Warhammer YouTuber guy, makes videos on Warhammer. My family bought Top Gun 2, Maverick, and I just watched it a couple minutes ago, and I thought I'd do a review on it. The movie's very fresh in my head, but because I got it on digital, I was able to fast forward or rewind parts I liked. So I did rewatch some parts, and I did fast forward some parts. I didn't watch, I'll say it now, I didn't watch 100% of this movie. I did skip through some parts. Now I'll talk about the picture real quick, just to get that out of the way. This picture you see on the screen, I just did a search for Top Gun 2, and this is the only picture I found that was actually in the movie. The other pictures it showed me, I went through like 60 pictures, and they weren't, there was stuff like I couldn't really use. A lot of it was like behind the scenes or like the movie posters, stuff that I couldn't really use. So this part here actually happened. The first, I want to say like 40 minutes of this movie is kind of pointless. So I'll break it down. And this is gonna be my review. The short version is it's not very good. I did skip through a lot of it. I'm not, this isn't going to be like an expert review or anything like that. This is just what I thought. Now normally I wouldn't review a movie like this, but it is like the most popular movie this year, so I'll talk about it. So the movie starts with talented pilots testing out military craft. Apparently they haven't used them in a while, and they pretty much decided on giving up on military aircraft, which sounds weird already. So this image here you're seeing is Tom Cruise piloting this stealth bomber and trying to get it to Mach 10, which is like, I think this faster than the speed of sound. If I remember, I think speed of sound is like Mach 5. He's going Mach 10, which sounds crazy dangerous. I know it's like the military and everything, but going Mach 10, even in just an experiment, that sounds crazy experiment. From what I understand, just being in an airplane puts massive pressure on your body. So I can't even imagine going Mach 10. That has to damage your body quite a bit. Anyways, they wanted Tom Cruise to go Mach 10, I guess just to see if the machine can do it, the stealth bomber. Anyways, he goes Mach 10, and he gets in trouble for it because I guess they ran out of funding when he did it. And then he does go Mach 10, and then he decides to go push it further, because I guess that's Maverick's character, is he likes to push things a bit further. It's weird. He's got so much experience and he's so talented, but he always like takes a risk, which is kind of weird. But whatever. I guess it's just Maverick. He likes to take risk. And anyways, he pushed the stealth bomber, who's already on fire, from going Mach 10. He decides to push it to the limit, which was like Mach 10 and a half. And the stealth bomber just like explodes, but he gets out of there in time. And then he gets in trouble for that. If I understand, stealth bombers are like $10 million or more, and he blew it up just for, like, I don't want to say for giggles, but it was kind of pointless. He blew it up. Now, if I understand, the military didn't allow any of the actors to actually be in the fighter jets. They were allowed to, like, be next to it. So the special effects in this movie are pretty crazy. It really does look like he's in the stealth bomber. But when I understand, they weren't allowed to be near him because they are $1 million machines used for war and stuff. So he crashes the plane because he decided to go too fast, and he gets in trouble for that. And then he is told that he's fired, but then he gets told he has to teach the new pilots on this mission to destroy this, like, plutonium or whatever. He has to destroy this plutonium because it's, like, really important, but he has to teach these new people how to do it instead of letting him do the mission. So he teaches these new students. The characters are fine, and the acting is fine. You can tell they have, like, good chemistry. I just find it kind of pointless. That was the thing that was in the back of my head during the whole movie. The thing that kept eating me away at this movie was it was kind of pointless. Anyways, they go to the bar, and they show off all the characters, and he realizes one of them is related to the guy in the first movie. This even though this is Top Gun 2, they talk about the first movie for a good, like, hour. This is like a 2.5 hour movie, and an hour of it is just talking about the first movie. So if you watch the first one, you're gonna love this. If you haven't watched the first one, you're gonna hear about it a lot. Anyways, so he goes and teaches these guys to do this mission, which is basically near impossible for a lot of reasons. They have these anti-air turrets that can detect for a wide range, and they have these bombers, or not these bombers, but they have these anti-aircraft fighter jets that will chase them around if they get caught, which is a neat idea. It sounds like a good idea. The only issue I have with that is the Navy often works with other, like, factions, and the anti-aircraft missiles, they show pictures of them, and they don't look guarded. And the only thing that I can tell is guarding the anti-missile turrets is, like, maybe 10 guys. So them ignoring the other factions of the army is kind of weird, but it's a movie, I guess. The idea of dropping down a couple guys and taking out the turrets, that sort of stuff happens for real, like, all the time. You hear about that in the news. So it's whatever. Anyways, he teaches them to do, like, he trains them for this very specific mission, and there's very little room for error. And they do, like, these training montages. Now, the training montages were pretty entertaining. He bonds with the students. He keeps telling the students that someone's gonna die during this mission because it's pretty much impossible. It's completely possible to do the mission, but it's pretty much impossible to do it without dying. That's what they said. And so they do the mission, and it wouldn't be a really good movie. It wouldn't be a really good movie unless they won. If they lost, you just wasted, hours of your time, and you spent so much time with the characters. If they would have lost, it would have been a huge, waste of time. So they had to win for the movie to be, entertaining. So it's not really a spoiler, because if you watch like any movie ever, you would know that they would win. They do run in some trouble. The Tom Cruise gets shot down, and he has to run around in this enemy base. And he goes through this enemy base without getting shot at, and he actually takes off one of their planes. And there is a couple of fights after that, which again proves, if a guy can just walk up and take their plane, it wasn't really that well guarded. I skipped a good chunk of this movie. I don't know what country they're fighting. I don't know why they're taking out the plutonium. In my head, I think putting very dangerous radioactive chemicals in a storage sounds like a good idea, but they decided to blow it up, which means the radioactive chemicals are probably spread all over. The movie's kind of weird. They shoot a missile at the plutonium, or whatever it is. The first missile broke like the top part, and the second missile like blew up. Like the land started it was like an earthquake, which was kind of weird. The first missile like took the very top off of the bunker, and the second missile like caused like an earthquake. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And when you see like pictures of like bombs hitting the ground or meteors hitting the ground, you never see like an earthquake effect. So I'm not sure what was going on with that. But from what I understand, the people who made this movie made it with the military, so they probably told them. They probably told them a few things. So maybe that's accurate, maybe not. I have no idea. Anyways, they steal a plane, which was pretty entertaining, and then they got out of there, which was pretty entertaining. And that was basically it. So the reason I say the movie's not very good is there's just a lot of pointless stuff in it. And it's basically one big nostalgia trip. They played the same music, which was fine. I don't really mind 80s music. I used to mind it, but I guess that was just a phase. I started to like 80s music again. Another thing that happens in this movie is they say this is going to be the last mission ever before we switch to unmanned drones. So this was they kept saying over and over again this was the last like human fighter jet mission, which is kind of weird. I know it's modern, unmanned drones, but it's kind of weird. They could have made, honestly, they could have made this movie about anything. It's been like a decade since the first Top Gun or whatever. I don't even remember the first Top Gun, and they could have made this movie about literally anything. It was about the Navy. They could have done anything with this movie, and it was a movie about them like retiring, which is kind of weird. The first movie, he was like trying to get famous, trying to be like number one. Then he fights some guys, and then he gets really famous for fighting people. And in this one, he does fight some people, and then I guess he just retires or something. And it's a weird decision for me. But yeah, they spend the whole movie training to blow up this bunker, and then they do, because it'd be kind of boring if they didn't. So they blow up the bunker, and then that's basically the end of the movie. So yeah, it's, I guess it'd be a good kids movie. Well, maybe not even that, because half the movie is very romantic. There's a lot of romance in this movie, which I don't think kids would get too behind on. And they talk about death a lot, which I don't think kids would really like. My biggest takeaway from this movie was the action scenes were actually pretty good. They felt pretty realistic, but they kept talking about how the foreign enemies they had a huge advantage on us. So they kept saying over and over again that they couldn't win the fight because they were just outmatched and outclassed. I don't really do a lot of research on technology, so I don't know if that's true or not. But it's a movie. It's whatever. But yeah, they kept saying they were outmatched, so they decided that they couldn't actually fight. They decided, we can't fight these guys. They're too strong. We'll take out the bunker, and then we won't fight these guys anymore, which was fine. But yeah, it's just a movie about people hanging out, and then they blow up a bunker, and then they retire, I guess. So yeah, I didn't really find it that great. I do want to talk about Northman a bit, because I've been getting a lot of comments and reactions to my Northman review. I can't tell which movie is better. I would say they're about equal. Northman made no sense, but it did have really good visuals, and it had really good acting. Probably some of the best acting I've seen in a while. Top Gun 2 had okay acting, and it was just it was a very repetitive movie, and it was a very pointless movie. And I think that's what annoyed me the most. This movie is very pointless. It's nice to see where the characters are. It's nice to see where the characters are at, but it is kind of a pointless movie. But I guess it did release. I think the movie came out in summer, so it was supposed to be like this summer action movie. But who knows? I know it made a lot of money, so I guess it worked out. But yeah, Northman made no sense, but there was cool parts in it, and there was really good acting in it. And as much I'll say a lot of bad things about Northman, but I do remember it. I remember it like a month after I seen it. I think this movie, Maverick, because it's pointless, I'll probably forget it in a couple days. So, even though I've been talking bad about this movie for like 20 minutes, I still kind of recommend it, because it is a silly action movie with good chemistry. I don't think there was a single weak link. Like, when you watch a movie, you'll see a bad actor, and it'll stick out immediately. And there's no real bad actor in this. You know, one bad actor can really just take you out of the movie. But I wouldn't say there's any real bad actors in this. It was fine. And I guess that's my biggest problem with this movie. It's like $1 billion movie, and it's just fine. And yeah, I guess that's my review. It's fine. and that's my problem with it. It's not great, and it really could have been about anything. And the fact that it's just a pointless story, that kind of annoys me. It really could have been about anything. So yeah, that's my review. I was planning on making this video a lot shorter, but I guess I started ranting. These kind of movie review videos are very low effort. So anyways, I guess my Fallout 4 video is getting some traction. So I might make a Fallout 4 video after this. Thanks again if you made it this far. I'm gonna stop and get some food or something. Again, not a movie review expert, not a Top Gun expert. In the beginning of the movie, they mentioned a school teaching the lost art of jet fighter on jet fighter combat, and that just sounds so unrealistic to me. I know jet fighters were very popular to the point where basically if you had a jet fighter and the enemy didn't, you would pretty much win. So the idea of jet fighters being obsolete just doesn't sound right to me. The first hour of this movie is just one big... It feels like a toy sale. That's kind of what annoys me about this movie. The first hour of this just feels like one giant toy commercial. But anyways, that's my review. Thanks for watching. Thanks if you made it this far. Sorry I didn't talk about Warhammer a lot. I know a lot of you guys come here for my Warhammer stuff. Thanks again. Bye.